that was silly, ridiculous, a waste of time. They didn't want. That's why they were so successful. That's why they got away.
I made a living in it very dangerous.
This is really an integrated blue society.
Dianne Andrews in black and white.
Hello, this is Fuji Totes. I just found out Fuji could not come in with me, so I'm making a little video for you to see how the pillow works with the doggy in it. As you see, Fuji's in here, in the bottom of this. At the end, after I take him out, I'm going to take all the things that are in here with him that you need on a trip, or whether you're just going, for an afternoon, everything you need to take the dog. I have driven all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, and taken Fuji and my other dog on multiple with me with their meds, their leashes, their water, cup, and whatever, in one pack, a couple of packs of food are in the bottom of this. By the way, I even have a COVID test. If you think your dog has COVID, it's in the bottom here that you can carry. And I'm going to show you, even with all that in the bottom, he can still lay here and feel nothing. You see him sitting down on it? He can still do that with all the things in there. And I'll show you what was in there. He had a Play-Doh. He had the COVID test, as I laughed about. He has a heavy leash. He has a water bottle. He has some food. And another leash. This pillow only weighs about 3 pounds. So whatever you need in your necessities are for your dog can go in here, along with the dog as you carry him wherever you want to go. To the park. And I'll tell you, sometimes I use this to put things as I go outside. So this is Fuji's Totes. And they are patented. Now, I'm going to show you in the presentation the large pillow. All of these are multifunctional pillows that can be used for cover-ups, for totes, for luggage. And I'm going to tell you the story how I started Fuji Totes. Fuji was, but anyway, I'll say that personally to you. I don't have to tell you all that now. Thank you.
What do I think of Joe Biden?
No, about.
What do I think? Is that what you're asking me? Because I would love
You
to
can
talk
tell me
about
what you
that.
think, but make it quick. That's too long a subject for you to tell. No, about what's going on with oil and gas now and the LNG pause that you all are suing about. Tell
Well,
me
that's a
about
great issue to talk about. Just last week, the Pelican Institute filed a lawsuit on our behalf against Joe Biden as the named defendant over his pause on LNG export approvals. That decision really hurts the economies of Louisiana and Texas especially.
Oklahoma too, doesn't it? Okay.
Yes, certainly. And by extension, it hurts every single American.
Right. But now, when Trump left office, or while he was still in office, he was trying to get Germany. He told her, what was her name, Merkel over there in Germany, who was like this with Obama. And now, last winter, the people were like burning down, cutting down all their trees and burning for old furniture to warm themselves because green energy did not work. In Germany, they swallowed the pill. They drank the water. And they ended up with a terrible, terrible system in Germany as far as green energy, which is what seems to be going on here, trying to lead us down. But we're maybe a little smarter than the Germans here in America, I hope. And a lot of people are seeing what Joe Biden and his compatriots are doing to this country.
Americans want good paying jobs so they can support their own families. They want good, safe communities.
Right,
good
just like everybody
schools,
else.
And they don't want mandated vehicles that cost them more than an internal combustion engine.
But I can tell you, neither are they for late-term abortions. But they don't switch from the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris said, let's have them 7th, 8th, 9th month, the day they delivered, and maybe the day after. So, but she's now saying she didn't say that. In fact, I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and I found the article. It took forever to find that article because what she's saying now is, I don't believe in late-term abortions. But I found an article from National Review in 2020 where she said, we believe in abortions at every stage. I have a friend of mine, Tesla. He has a Tesla out in Seattle. And he said they basically gave him the car. Our government is giving them all kind of bonuses and stipends and all kind of things to buy the cars.
Well, Eric Bradshaw explained to us, is that the people who are buying EVs are the ones that bought an EV before. 75% of people who buy an EV will buy another one.
This was his first. He bought it, he told me, because of the money.
So we have people that have bought a Tesla first, are trading in Teslas on our Cadillac Lyriq electric car. You're not switching people from ICE to EV as much as you are taking EV buyers and putting them in the next EV. That's what GM's trying to do, is trying to take the people who have bought an EV before and give them a choice with General Motors to get an EV. But GM now has the capability at each plant to be flexible to switch from EV to hybrid to ICE vehicles at the same plant based on demand.
COVID, a lot of people stopped going to church. I think now, what is it? It used to be like 65, 75 people believed in God in America. They did a study, and it was in the 40s. It was in the 40% who really believe in God. And you have so many. Obama didn't, and I'm not saying this as a prejudice thing, all the Muslim people, all the people that came in here who hate us, did they integrate into our society, or do they still have their own conclaves that they live in?
Their own thing.
That's right. They do their own thing. You take Vietnamese people, us as slaves, we integrated into the society when we were free, right? People who want Mexicans integrate into the society somewhere. But when you look at a lot of Middle Easterners, they do not integrate into this society. I did a show with a Muslim and a rabbi. I did a series with them on religion. And that Muslim told me, this was 5 years, and he said, you just wait and see what we do in this country. And we're seeing what they do in this country. Anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, kill the Jew, Zionist, all of that. Those are, a lot of them are paid, but a lot of those people, they found that 50% were not on college campuses. They were not students in the college
absolutely.
campus.
They're being paid to
That's
protest.
Right. Just like the Black Lives Matter campaigns were paid. George Soros funds a lot of them. So I think that religion has a problem here. We are so diverse now that, Muslims is the second largest religion in the world, next to, and it's not that much under our religion, the belief in God religion, the Christian religion. So I think that's the first thing to me. They go after the kids, as Stalin said, get the kids and you take over the world. And then they want to take us away from God. When you take those things, you've done a lot, right? When they took the Pledge of Allegiance even out of the schools, that should have never come out of the schools. You just left Europe. I was in Turkey about 8 years ago, and I tell you, I've never seen so many American flags in my life. I mean, Turkish flags. This building, that building, they're going to have 3 or 4 in every building. Have you been to Turkey? Did you see? I had never seen so many before, and I've traveled a lot with IBM and on vacations. And to me, that shows your patriotism. They let people tear down our flag and wrap it around George Washington and then put paint on it. That's insane. And some young white college guys went and took that off of the statue of George Washington. People have no respect for our history. I don't think they do, a lot of people. Do you ever?
Well, that's by design.
Yes.
That's what the Communist Party has done. They've tried to wipe out our founding fathers' history.
Right.
They don't want us to know the history of how we were founded.
That's right.
They don't want to wipe that completely clean, and that's why so many young people today, unfortunately, don't know the founding fathers' philosophies. They don't know who came to this country and why. They don't know that 54 people that signed the Declaration of Independence were pastors. They don't know that Harvard and Dartmouth and Yale were founded as Christian universities. Yes. They've tried to wipe that out, and we've got to get back to our roots and get everybody back to knowing how this country was founded and why.
And that's the key. We're getting off of oil and gas a lot, but the country, if there's no country, it won't matter about oil and gas or about EVs or anything else.
That's right.
That's why, as I told you, I did a documentary that won 2 awards last year, the National Whistleblowers People's Choice, and then at the African American Women in Cinema in New York, on the Silver Dollar Group of the Klan, which was a Klan out of Louisiana, Mississippi, mostly Louisiana, the Faraday area. And the guy who wrote a book on it, Stanley Nelson, won a Pulitzer Prize nominated book about this. But in doing that documentary, when I did the documentary, I took it as a point of, we have a long way to go, but my God, we've come a long way from where we were. And nothing's perfect. Those people that are coming here are not coming for nothing. we are still the best country in the world to live in. Now, one of the problems, in fact, even the Cuban that I interviewed said this: a lot of people come for the money. He said when he was there 2 years in the remaining Mexico, behind the Mexican border, he said fentanyl, rapes, trafficking, and people who just come over here to do nothing. 181 countries are coming into this country,
That's right.
including 25,000 Chinese nationalists the last 6 months into America. And every one of those people, China sent them here because China does not let one person leave without knowing who they are, right, and where they're going. So what do you think about that, Matt?
I think that we've allowed our own demise.
Right.
I think we've funded our own destruction. I think that if we don't come together as a country, we won't have a country to come together in.
And you know the WHO right now, Joe Biden is leaning toward the World Health Organization setting the parameters for America because of the next epidemic or pandemic.
That's why I would love to take this moment to talk about Senator Presley and Representative Kathy Edmonston, who have been working on a bill that
Louisiana
finally
Senator
passed.
Presley, yeah.
Yes. In fact, Senator Presley's, I believe it was Senate Bill 33 or 133, I can't remember the number for sure, but both he and Rep. Kathy Edmonston worked on that bill to ensure that international organizations have zero legal jurisdiction in the state of Louisiana, and that it has passed and is on its way
Congratulations,
to...
Kathy. And I'm going to talk about it on another show this afternoon with Chris Alexander.
You know, that's a very valid concern you brought up. Whenever we let international organizations have jurisdiction over American citizens, we have already lost.
That's right.
You know,
and letting them buy our land. That's another problem.
that is another problem. Representative then, and now Senator Valerie Hodges, who introduced House Bill 537 last year, and of course it passed, to ban China and other hostile foreign entities from taking control of Louisiana farmland, oil and gas assets, and
that
so
did
forth.
pass.
It did pass.
But you know who has more land than anyone here?
Who?
It's Canada. When I did a show with Dr. Strand, the commissioner of forestry and everything,
Oh, yeah.
we talked about that. China is number one in Louisiana as far as owning land for people outside America. And you know, Canada's really a socialist country. It's really not a democracy.
It is.
So I don't even know why we allow them to buy land either.
It's a good question. And of course, then
I think a lot of people don't know that Canada owns so much of our land here in Louisiana.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did when I did the study and with the show with Dr. Strand. I was reading about it and I was surprised. We have our co-host who has joined me today. He's only 8 months old. This is Fuji 2. He represents Fuji's totes. He's the sweetest little thing. Look at him trying to kiss me. That's okay, baby. Okay, y'all, let's finish on with where we were. Do we want to get back to oil and gas or anything?
Certainly. And one of the
what
things
about
that
your
we
workers? Because in reality, oil and gas in America, we have more oil and gas under Joe Biden by accident, not by him trying to help.
We don't have more under
Being
Joe
produced,
Biden,
right?
The production levels are at a record high, but
Yeah,
what you need
that's
to
what I'm
pay
talking about, the production.
what people are not paying attention to is that rig counts are about 60% of where we were under President Trump in 2019. That bodes very badly for future production.
Explain that to us, a neophyte like me who doesn't know. So the rig counts are down.
Yes.
But we are producing more oil in this country than ever before.
Certainly, our industry innovates better than any industry that I know of. Of course, I'm sure Eric would talk about how well the auto industry innovates. And that's one of the greatest things about American innovation, just
That's why
that
China
indomitable
steals all our
spirit.
stuff.
Of course. And like President Trump talked about how China was stealing U.S. technology,
Right.
intellectual property. They were doing that. And so whenever we see a drilling boom in Africa for oil and gas, it is a lot of U.S. technology that has been stolen and or bought by China from American companies.
You mentioned that Donald Trump, President Trump, pulled us out of the Paris Accord, which
Yes.
he did. But did you also know the emissions under his 4 years were the lowest we had been in 50 years because we were using our oil when Venezuela and Russia, you may as well pull it up with the dirt in it because it's such bad, it's putting more pollutants into the air than the American oil.
Well, in addition
Isn't that
to
right,
that,
Eric?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
in addition to that, America's oil and gas workers reduced emissions by 12% from 2005 to 2019. And the great miracle of that statistic is that the shale revolution in America happened during
And he
those
doesn't
years.
want shale, right, Joe Biden? Is he using the shale oil? Didn't he do something
yes,
with that too against shale?
No.
The environmentalists don't like using shale. Is that what it is?
A lot of environmentalists are opposed to fracking, but that's what
And that's to
made
get the
us.
shale, isn't it? Fracking
Yes.
is used, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hydraulic fracturing is whenever you pump a combination of water and chemicals and sand.
What are
and
they
this-
saying? It's hurting. It's going to leave a big void. Why don't they like it? It's going to leave a big hole. What does fracking do?
Those
to
are
the
some of their
environment?
concerns. Other concerns are, it's going to contaminate the drinking water. When studies have shown that the majority of the time, while accidents certainly do happen, the majority of the time that doesn't happen.
But it has happened.
On rare occasions.
Well, couldn't you contaminate the drinking water even from some of these plants on the river here? I mean, is there a way that
There's
something
always
could
a
happen
could.
that could contaminate?
Yeah, there's always a could.
Yeah.
But operators in our industry have maintained a keen eye towards being environmentally conscious.
Let me ask you this. How big is that environmental lobby? Because it sure seems to scare Joe Biden.
Huge. And whenever you talk about maybe just one organization like the Environmental Defense Fund, a misnomer radical environmental group that is largely backed by George Soros and other radical
Oh, so are they
radicalists.
really environmentalists if they're backed by George Soros? I heard him interviewed the other day. They were talking about some of the countries that he calls the demise of, like Malaysia and some other countries in that realm over there. And he said, hey, I just look to go in and make money. That's all I'm doing, making money. This is about an interview 20 years ago, before he knew what to say.
I'm not sure. I know that the Center for Biological Diversity is largely backed by George Soros.
Yeah.
And the
His
problem,
open society.
you know, Eric was talking earlier just about what kids are being told and about history. You know, and it's so important to understand that children now and young adults and even, older adults are being fed information that is completely not in line with the facts.
And see, I think that's part of the problem when we talk about religion. I don't think it's about color, because black people will probably be one of the most religious communities you'll find, percentage-wise. But I think it's more the age. I think the younger people don't really know enough about who God really is. And
That's by design.
Yeah, and it's
Once
by
again,
design, yeah.
They've taken God out of schools.
Right.
They've taken prayer out of schools. They've taken away the 10 Commandments off of public buildings. And it's been by design. The communists do not want God in anything of the communist country because it gives people hope in something other than the state.
Right.
So that's why it's banned across China. You know, they don't allow anybody to be in churches. Same thing in Russia.
Now, Cuba, the person I interviewed when he came up 2 years ago from Miami, he lives in Miami now, who was in the Remain in Mexico program, he said they are allowing some churches there in Cuba.
Well,
Not a lot, but some.
Well, they are beginning to, because basically Cuba is cracking, and Cuba will probably end up becoming democratic sometime soon. Probably would have happened sooner had not, Joe Biden been elected.
You know what I don't understand? Cuba is 90 miles from the tip of Florida. It's only 11 million people. How did we let this happen the last 60 years?
The Communist Party.
Right.
Russia saw this. You saw what happened with Kennedy when they brought missiles into Cuba. It's a strategic area that Russia and China love having that so close to America. So that's been completely funded by Russia and China.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand that, but couldn't we take that over? It's 11 million people.
We could.
And I think maybe the Bay of Pigs, I think that was the name of it with
Well,
Kennedy, right?
we own the the place in Guantanamo Bay
Yeah, that's right.
now.
That was part of that war.
So the
That's how
United
America
States
got it.
is in Cuba.
Right. We are there. At the tip of Cuba is
That's right.
Guantanamo Bay, and it's a beautiful piece of land, Guantanamo Bay. So I don't know why we didn't take it all. But that was years ago, I think, during a war, right?
I'm sure
Spanish-Mexican
somebody
War or
could
something.
tell you the answer.
Yeah. It was some war, I think I read when I did something on that. But I've often wondered, it's not like we're fighting Russia with Cuba. And the people want to be free.
They do.
They want to be free. It's not that they're with the government.
Well, if the government finds out that they want to be free,
They kill them. That's why
they
the
come in and
guy
arrest him.
interviewed. That's
Yes.
how he escaped. He was being assassinated. That's how he got
I
asylum.
mean, why do you think they're coming across shark-infested waters
Yeah.
in halfway boats,
Right.
risking death just to get to America?
And people
Yes.
need the young people out there who think this is such a terrible country. I'm a black woman. It's still the best place in this world that you can live. And if you want to do something and be whatever you want to be, you can be it in this country. I don't know why Kamala Harris isn't promoting how great America is. She is the first not black woman vice president. She is the first woman vice president. Obama, first black man. And black people, we're only 13%. We can't put them in office. We don't put, we are not enough to put anybody in office is all I'm saying. So a lot of white people are voting. And I hate when people say all whites are prejudiced or all blacks are bad. All of everything is not a good term to use. And it's really incorrect. All of everything is not bad. All of everything is you've got good and bad. Every race, at the end of the day, aren't people? Your environment, your growing up. You don't think people are people?
Oh no, people definitely are people.
Uh-huh.
To your point, making blanket statements is always wrong.
Yeah.
Not all dogs are spoiled.
Well, people
And
want
some
to
of
know.
them are not the smartest dogs in the world.
People want to know why there's so much of an attack on America. Is because America is the only country left that has not been taken over by the elitist of the world.
it.
We are the only country they can't buy. They haven't been able to get us. They've gotten every other country in the world. There's a small group of people that run the world, but they can't run America, and they're doing everything they can to take us over so they can now run the world.
Like George Soros' group,
That's
the
right.
Open Society. That's who's doing it.
That's what
Him
it's
and
all
500
about.
people.
And everybody better pray that
Yes.
America stays strong, because then there's nowhere for people to run to.
That's right.
Yes.
There's no hope to run to if we fall.
That's right. We're the last. We're
We're the only place left.
That's right, because Brazil was Democratic, and last year Lula, out of prison, who works with China, is now the president. They had Bolsonaro, who was very similar to Trump. They made him flee the country, and they stuck this communist guy in there. That was now a friend of mine just left Argentina.
No, Argentina.
They're trying to bring it back. Yeah, Argentina. I was
just
getting ready to
elected.
say they just elected him, but before that
that's
they were
right.
socialists.
Oh, absolutely.
His name is Elme or something like that. The guy they
Milei.
elected, Milei. That's the only one now. But it was Brazil too. You look at Japan. Remember, what was his name? He and Trump were good friends. They have no guns in Japan. Some guy made a 3D gun and came up and shot his brains out with a 3D gun 2 years ago. He was the former prime minister of Japan. What do you think about the U.S. oil spill? Now, this is getting back to somewhat of the car industry and oil and gas. What do you think of U.S. Steel? It's kind of more car industry. What do you think of U.S. Steel? That sale that we're selling, Nippon is buying U.S. Steel from America out of Japan.
Well, let's face it, the steel industry has been really decimated over the years by China. Mm-hmm. China, and they make their steel they make over there is not near as good as our steel over here. Mm-hmm. But they've been dumping their steel over here.
To lower the prices.
Lower the price, and they've broken quite a few U.S. steel companies because they couldn't compete at the price.
Well, the government should have stepped into that.
Well,
That's the
Trump
president's-
did step in.
Yeah,
If
he
you look
tried
at what
to do
Trump did,
something, yeah.
Trump did step in. But after Trump got out of office, nobody's stayed with it.
Well, Biden has made a statement he doesn't want the sale to go through, but they're not stopping it. Because Congress can stop that, I think, of the Senate.
They can.
They can stop that. And they're not doing it.
Joe Biden's also lying.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't really want to be got to say it. He's just saying it.
And it's a Japanese company, Nippon, that's buying U.S. steel.
But how do we really know they won't sell it to China? How do you know what they will do?
We don't.
We
don't
don't,
know.
and that's
We
why
don't
we
know.
need to keep it. If we have a war or making cars, we need our own steel.
That's why.
And it's a better grade, like Eric said.
Thank God, COVID
Bought a lot of
showed
things up. Mhm.
the problem we had with the microchips.
Right.
Yes.
Where used to be we made 85% of the microchips
That's
for the
right.
world. Then all of a sudden, it was 15%.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. How many things operate military weapons now with chips?
Just like your cars, right? Our cars,
Right.
too. We can't turn it on.
Do you know how many chips are in a car?
Now tell me.
3,000.
3,000.
3,000. Electric cars are more.
More chips.
4,000.
And what do you think is going to happen with Taiwan?
Well, obviously China wants Taiwan.
Right.
And
Seems like they're laying back a little bit now. I
yeah,
thought
they're not
they
laying
would've
back.
gotten
They're
them by
just
now.
preparing.
Yeah.
China is going to invade Taiwan.
And Biden has already said he's not going. He believes in the one-state strategy. China and Taiwan are one.
Well, the good news is there's 5 microchip plants being built in North America.
Right now, he did do a CHIPS
Right
Act.
now,
Biden did do that.
So,
he did the CHIPS Act.
so that is going to help tremendously. If something happens to Taiwan, we'll be able to still get the chips we need from the plants that are coming online right now.
What do you need the material to make a chip? Steel,
Silicone
silicone.
is one of the major things.
Do we have that here in America?
I think we have enough. I think we're okay. A lot of people, they were all concerned about the lithium.
Yes.
That's
That
in the
China
rare
had
mineral,
had bought up all the lithium in the world. Well, they just found a lithium lake
I saw that.
in Nevada
Yeah,
that is huge.
yeah.
That's going to get us tremendous amounts of lithium.
Is he going to let us use it?
Well, it won't matter. We're going to use it regardless of who
From
says
Biden.
we can. We are going to use it.
Yeah.
We're going to need it.
And like the cobalt, I saw it's always a picture of the cobalt plants in the Congo with a little black
Yeah,
boy with a white
yeah.
outfit. Everybody's seen that picture. He's, dark-skinned African child and no mask on. Cobalt is toxic.
Absolutely.
And so all the rare earth minerals, and that boy's gonna die. He's making 50 cents a day, slaving with his hands turning blue from the cobalt for China. So do we really care?
No. We do.
Yeah, but
But
you
these
know,
radical environmentalists, they
look
don't
as far
care.
as they don't look at the rare earth minerals. We can build all the solar plant factories we want in this country. We still have to get those rare earth minerals from China. Because Biden touts, well, I'm building some plants to, for solar panel plants.
Well-
But we got to get the stuff from China, the rare earth minerals.
Well, we're diversifying right now. It's
Yeah.
getting better.
Well,
But
it
yeah,
started under Trump. Any words of wisdom for what you're seeing that's going on out to tell the people out in the community?
I'm seeing a tremendous amount of great things happening in Louisiana right now.
Mm-hmm.
With our supermajority in the House, the Senate, and now the governor,
Yes.
there are things happening now. There are other companies looking to come to Louisiana. I'm really excited to see what's going on with this administration.
We got a great governor there now.
We do. I believe Governor Landry in this legislature, and of course with Attorney General Liz
Yeah.
Merle in place.
She's wonderful.
And of course, State Treasurer John Fleming, who is carrying on what
Schroeder was
State
doing.
Treasurer John Schroeder
He was great,
really
Schroeder, yeah.
got started on. I believe that Louisiana is primed for a good run of really good policies that benefit every Louisianan.
Well, that's the wrap, you all, on Louisiana and about oil and gas and about EVs. Hopefully you learned a lot, and we'll see you next week. Tell them bye, Fuji. Bye-bye.
Thank you.